First things first, no movement on the Kevin Durant trade front. Why have trade talks actually slowed down for the superstar? Nick is continuing to count down the top 50 players of the last 50 years. Got us thinking, where will Kobe land on the list? We'll let you know. And are the Lakers drawing dead for a title even if they add Kyrie Irving? Good Tuesday morning.
No one would say
Welcome to First Things First.
Jenna,
we
why
got
would
questions,
we put that on
we
the
got
screen?
answers.
No one would say that.
I mean, it's there. It's a topic. It's in the show. I checked the rundown. It's still there. You don't like it? No.
You'd have to be a very, very dumb but good-looking redheaded man to say something like that. Luckily, we know one of those.
Okay.
Talk to him in about an hour.
We've got
I mean, is it?
a not-so-dumb guy coming up to join us. The ever-so-brilliant Rick Bucher will be
We'll
with
see.
us. We got to start,
We'll
though,
see.
with the latest.
You killed it.
The latest on Kevin Durant. So wrong, Nick. You're wrong. The latest on Kevin Durant and where he could, where he might, where he could possibly end up next season. Yesterday, remember, we talked about Golden State as a team being floated out there. The Athletic now reporting KD's had some conversations recently with Steph and with Clay and with Draymond about a reunion. But there's a big but here. Sources within the Warriors organization are calling that reunion, quote, highly unlikely. Broussard, we talked about this from so many angles yesterday, except one. I'll ask you this. Should the Warriors even want KD back?
Well, Jenna, personally, I don't want to see a Golden State KD reunion, but you asked me the question from the Warriors' perspective. And the answer to that is absolutely. The goal in this thing is to win championships. KD gives them a better chance to win the championship. With Kevin Durant, they could top the Showtime Lakers. They could maybe top the Jordan Bulls. How many more could they win? 2? Maybe 3? I mean, yes, you do it. And look, they're the best team in the league right now, right? They won the ring last year. But Nick, I think, has them 3rd or 4th in the West. They are far from a shoo-in to get back to the finals next year, even though I think they're going to be improved. I mean, the Lakers could be better. The Clippers will be better. The Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies, they're all going to be better. And that's not even to mention the contenders in the East. And I can hear people saying, well, what about Steph? I hear myself saying, I'd love to see Steph go for rings without KD. But Steph's legacy is set. Steph is now a made man, even without KD. He's got 2 rings, same amount as Isaiah Thomas without KD. So if he wins 6 rings and 4 of them are with KD, that's not going to hurt his case for being the top 10 all time, to maybe top Magic in some people's eyes as the best point guard. So there's no downside. And Nick, finally, you like the young boys. Jonathan Kuminga, James Weissman, Jordan Poole. They're great. I like them too. But there's no guarantee they're going to become a trio that's going to win championships. I mean, they can win them with Steph and Clay, but there's no guarantee they're going to do it by themselves.
I agree with that.
One thing, Nick, I'd love to keep Wiggins. I'd be talking about Poole, Kuminga, and Wiseman. I want to keep my man Andrew Wiggins, though.
Well, you can't. Well, listen.
For defense.
You can't keep Wiggins, but you also can't trade Wiggins if Ben Simmons is on the Nets. So it's a 3-team trade, or all of a sudden is Draymond Green the guy you're including for salary filler? But Wilds, none of it matters because we shouldn't be discussing this. The more we talk about this, the more of the possibilities creep into existence that this actually happens. And do I need to remind everyone how miserable this was for everyone directly involved? Did Steve Kerr enjoy that? No. You know how we know? Because Steve Kerr's talked about it a lot. Did Kevin Durant?
He didn't like the end.
Right. And guess what? When you start something new, you pick up from the end. You don't all of a sudden teleport back to the beginning. No. When there's a part 2 of a movie, this isn't going to be a prequel. This is a sequel. So you pick up from the end. Did Steve Kerr like it? Nah, bruh. Did Kevin Durant like it? No. He left and then never stopped tweeting about it. Did Draymond Green seem to enjoy it? No, not really. Steph Curry seems to be the most affable, even-keeled guy. And yet, what are the 2 times we have seen Steph show the most emotion in his career? The first time was when LeBron was ripping his unanimous MVP's perfect season away from him. He's slinging his mouth guard and assaulting fans. The second time was after winning this title. And it was the relief, the off my shoulders finally. And Brew, you're right that I don't think they're the favorites, but you do. And you know what? You have championship bragging rights right now, so I will defer to you. They are the favorites. They are also the Vegas favorites, or they were before all of this news jostled the odds a bit. If you're okay with this, I would just, and I know you're not encouraging this, but for the generic you,
right.
I would just like Wild's people to take it to the furthest logical conclusion. Durant signs there next year. They win the title. Durant gets traded there, this upcoming year, and they win the title. He goes there after they won the title. They win it again. Next offseason, everyone's good with LeBron joining them for the minimum, right? Oh, my God, how many rings could that team win? No, why not? Why not? It's not about competition. No. It's not about competition. It's not. It's just, it's like playing solitaire. Just cheat. Why not? I get to win. No. It's not competition.
Right.
Oh, it's not okay for LeBron because he's this.
Because he's better
Steph,
than Durant.
hold on, just real quick.
That's why.
Okay, go ahead, Wilds. No, you go. Go ahead.
No. I'm going to ask you a question about who enjoyed Kevin Durant's time in Golden State. You said KD didn't like it. Steph didn't love it. Draymond didn't like it. Steve Kerr didn't like it. Mostly because of the end. Everyone seemed to like it when you're winning championships. So here's a question for you. Did you like it? Did you like being in sports media when you got to an opportunity to watch 82 nights a year, one of the greatest teams of all time, for almost 3 years? Well, it was a full 3 years in playoffs. One of the great. You didn't enjoy that? I loved it.
No, the same reason.
You know why he didn't.
I don't.
You know why he didn't like it?
That's not
LeBron,
why.
Period. That's why he didn't like it.
It is because no. Okay, well, listen, you can do my segment and your part, too, if you're going to tell me how I feel. But how I actually felt was this. How I actually felt, Brew, was the same reason that I don't buy a book and then read the last 10 pages first. I like there to be some suspense in things. And when you have a team that was in the running, Brew, for the greatest team ever, and you add one of the greatest players ever, there was no suspense. And so it's the same reason why my hypothetical was a joke. I would not like it if LeBron joined the Warriors this a year from now when they already had Kevin Durant. That would not be fun. Sports, the best thing with sports one of the best things are the competition and the uncertainty of it. So Brew, it would no longer be uncertain. I don't think that's enjoyable for the NBA. I don't know why we're talking about this when the parties didn't enjoy it. Go ahead, please.
When Kawhi was close to joining the Lakers in free agency, did you want that?
What? I was not encouraging that outright, but that wouldn't have. You mean the Kawhi? Hold on, real quick. You mean when they already had Anthony Davis?
Yes.
When they had AD already? Yes. No, I was not encouraging that. It's the same type of thing. I thought it might happen, but it's the same.
I'll give you points for consistency. All right. I'll give you points for consistency.
But you, would you want to see it, Brew?
I don't want to see it. I don't personally. But I'm saying if I were the Warriors, I would try to get KD. That's what I'm saying. And I would pay Jordan Poole so maybe I can sign and trade him and Kuminga and Wiseman. But here, let me say this, Nick. You mentioned that nobody enjoyed it. Steph flew cross country to try to convince KD to stay. All of them wanted KD to stay. So I think they enjoyed it to a certain degree. They enjoyed winning. And here's something else I have to throw out there. Draymond Green, I think this guy's, we know it's been reported they've been talking. Certainly Draymond is one of the guys that's been talking with KD. Do you think that's the reason for his revisionist history on his podcast a week ago? You know, now all of a sudden they valued KD, right? The outside world didn't. The outside the world's the ones gave him the finals MVP. They were the ones saying he might be the best player in the world. Inside, Draymond was saying, we don't need you. Leave. Bob Myers was saying, I hear from the beginning, teasing him at the parade. So that's revisionist history. Then he says they couldn't have beat the Cavs. We really needed KD. Then he says they are going to win 3 of the next 4 championships. So I don't ask, how does he predict that if KD's not there? It just makes me wonder what in the world those conversations are. So it's interesting, but yeah, the Warriors should want it, even as the rest of us may not.
Wilds, I can answer how Draymond Green can predict that. Because Draymond Green is not sketching out these takes like, let me make sure there's an intellectual consistency here. It is just a fire hose of takes and a fire hose of somewhat unearned arrogance, somewhat coasting off the accomplishments of one Steph Curry into his 4 championship rings. Now, he's been a huge part of that, and I give him credit, but a little bit of that. So how can he say that? That's how he can say that. Or the other possibility is Draymond Green, who we know watches